Good afternoon, Shield Wall Nation. I'm back, and I'm actually going to be giving out some news, give my little personal thoughts on it, and hopefully it'll inform you, keep you informed what's going on in our country and the world as well. There's just a few articles that I pulled. It's my thoughts on the DACA and how they're defunding the police. I got some notes right here. It says that for DACA, it says that Trump, in a major rebuke, Trump and the Supreme Court has blocked his administration to plan to dismantle the Obama-era DACA that protected so-called 700,000 dreamers from deportation. The vote was 5-4, with the Chief Justice John Roberts writing the opinion. That's good. I don't think they need to get rid of it. They either need to reform it or have one in place and it transitions from DACA to whatever the new one is. I believe there needs to be improvements to it. However, completely dismantling, getting rid of it without having something in place is not responsible. It says that they're both agreeing that either it's unlawful to have it the way they have it, and also it's unlawful to get rid of it. So there's both sides saying what you're doing is unlawful. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not part of the administration. This is just what they're saying. It says, while the decision gives DACA and its hundreds of thousands of recipients a lifeline, the issue is far from settled. The court decided that the way Trump went about canceling DACA was illegal, but all the justices seem to agree that the president does have authority to cancel the program if done properly. Now let's go to the defund police. It's actually a huge hot topic issue. So big that even truckers are stating they are not willing to deliver to defunded cities. This defunding goes as far as just taking some money from the police and allocating it somewhere else, or completely dismantling the law enforcement they have in that area. Both are bad in their own way. One is good in a sense, I guess, depending on the department and what they actually have to manage. There are some small cities that have a lot of equipment and a lot of money going into them, and you're just thinking, like, you don't need all that. But anyway, let me read. It says, it's a ridiculous movement, so say 64% of Americans. 64%. Yet, it is scary that a good third of our population, led by the more radical wing of the Democratic Party, including Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York, and Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, both Democrats, thinks it's a palatable goal. It's not. Having defensively postured that this is really not a call to end police funding, but merely want to transfer for a good chunk of our street protection funds over to noble social programs that will presumably eradicate crime, lifted the destitute of poverty. Now, I don't know if y'all remember. Oh, here comes my dog. Molly, come here. Good girl. Hi. I don't know if you read any history or looked into it further. In fact, I copied and pasted. I looked it up and kind of refreshed my memory. This actually happened back in the 60s and the 70s when liberals attacked law enforcement and allowed criminals to control our streets and prey on innocent residents and shop owners. Sound a little familiar? Now, $22 trillion invested in social programs would not only lift the poor out of poverty, they would predicted that it would eliminate the very need of police. Sounds kind of like what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Omar are trying to do. Sounds like that to me. Furthermore, this is the era between 1969 and 1980, among the most crime-ridden of anything in U.S. history. Meanwhile, the economy suffered due to massive inflation and limited opportunity. The program, after expensive program, was tried and failed. The poverty rate at the end of the experiment was almost as high as it was when the well-meaning feel-good programs were initiated. Yet crime skyrocketed, leading to a flight of tax-paying middle class to safer suburbs. So, the thing that we need to do is learn from history. And the thing that most of our politicians is that they fail to learn. And then they teach us citizens that it's okay to fail to learn. History is taught in school for a reason. To learn from our mistakes. Now I'll get back to that. That's one last topic I want to talk about is history. It says that the billions invested in pre-K programs are supposed to give low-income, especially minority children, an opportunity to close the education gap between blacks and whites. Yet, a study by research psychologists show that by the third grade, the potential gains garnered from the programs wash out. The $1.2 billion invested in federal 21st century community learning, the after-school programs, in the 1990s did not affect the students' outcomes. Over the past 30 years, states have increased spending on education by 375% in the effort to raise scores and mitigate desperate racial outcomes, yet test scores remained relatively flat. It's showing that either one of two things. The money is wasted, or the programs are very poorly run and poorly managed and poorly executed in every facet. That money that we put into it, it is a waste. Keep hearing things. We're camping, so the kids are at the lake with my girlfriend. It says, so in this whole economical issue, what does work is to maintain a strong economy. That definitely works. That will definitely bring in the tax revenue that we need to actually maybe not defund the police, or maybe not defund them as heavily, but we're able to have a little bit more tax money to go elsewhere. And to have a stronger economy is to actually work, reduce the unemployment rate. And that's what we actually have seen. Luckily, we have seen, I don't care whose administration it was, but during the Trump administration, we've seen an increase or a decrease in unemployment, which is fantastic. Who cares who the president is good. And even with the pandemic that really just, we think, crippled our economy. Really, our economy basically went back to 2016. Our economy has been strong. The other thing is strengthen the family unit. That means guys, ladies, pick a good spouse. You need to stay together to raise the child together in a proper household. Give them the education that they need. If the area that you live in is bad with a horrible school, move for your kid. But stay together. That's the strength that we need, the family strength that we need. And that's where we fail a lot. It doesn't matter what color skin, that's where we fail as people. We think we go to our basic animal instinct of just reproduce and then move to the next spouse or the next female or male that we see and reproduce with them. And then go cry back to the government hoping that they'll come save us. We need to think, we need to be smarter. And then reducing crime. Let me read this. Violent crime was cut by more than half from 1990 to 2015. But after cops started pulling back in 2015 due to public pressure following the Michael Brown killing in Ferguson, by the next year, homicide rates in cities of populations of 1 million or more people increased by 20%. So it said that we pulled back police, and then crime increased by 20%. It sounds like we in modern era experienced defunding the police. Because defunding the police means you had to cut back on staff, cut back on equipment. So if you cut back on staff, like it says right here, homicide rates in cities of populations of 1 million or more people increased by 20%. Think about it. So defunding the police is probably a horrible idea, depending on the city. And even in Atlanta, cops are quitting. Cops are just calling in sick. I can't make it. Because they don't want to deal with the havoc and chaos going on in their city and not being backed up by their chief, not being backed up by the politicians in their city. Also, you can please the people. Sometimes kids that throw a fit need to get their butts whooped and get back in shape. You don't give a kid that's throwing a fit whatever they want. Because guess what? They're going to do it again. And do it again. And do it again. And do it again. And then, damn, you got a Maury show. You got some sort of talk show with a kid, sitting in front of Dr. Phil, going, I don't care. Catch me outside, how about that? Then you got to go whoop their butt. But guess what? They're too big. They're going to whoop your butt. Unless you pinch it in the butt now. That's just like these kids out on the street. Hit them with a rubber bullet. Let it graze their leg and have them put a tourniquet on it. But someone needs to do something. And when I said, let's get back to history, I live in Texas, like I said. I'm not from Texas at all. I grew up in California. So, the rebel flag, Confederate flag ain't my history. Hasn't, it won't. Simple as that. But to get rid of statues, gravestones, desecrating graves, that's not right. Those statues, in my opinion, this is just strictly my opinion, they should serve as a reminder. A reminder that this is not the history that we want to repeat. That should be a reminder. You look and you go, this is where we failed as human beings. We don't want to go down that road again. Should be a reminder that people should be treated equally. Men, women, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, Indian, Middle Eastern, whoever's in this country should be treated the same. And I think tearing down those monuments is to erase it and kind of like, if you don't see it, it didn't happen. I think we need to be reminded and embarrassed every time we see one. We don't want to go down that road. And then there's one statue that was taken down that was actually someone that helped abolish slavery and help slaves get free. What's going on today isn't about any lives matter, Black Lives Matter, no. It's about the opportunity to commit a crime, opportunity to get free stuff. That's why we need those statues up, to remind us that we're all equal. And no matter what, if we do come together, we will get through this. But burning down our community, killing people to get our way isn't the right thing. Alrighty, folks, I need to go swim with my kids. I hope you have a wonderful day. It's a beautiful weekend, so I hope that you guys enjoy this weekend with your family. I hope that the coronavirus isn't impacting your family so much that you can't go outside to a secluded area like we are. And have fun and enjoy. So like I said, enjoy your weekend. And also, please like and subscribe. And share too. Share will definitely get this channel out to help support and grow together and grow stronger. Okay, see you guys.